Are you awake again? How frustrating. Thoughts are swirling through your head and you just can't sleep? Well, spend the next few minutes with me and maybe I can help. What you're about to hear is a podcast I recorded in 2018. It offers you a technique to help you sleep. There are many techniques. This is just one, and hopefully you'll find some support with that. I've also been told by friends that my voice puts them to sleep. So perhaps if the actual technique doesn't help you, maybe I can lull you to sleep with my voice. Just a reminder that this is not medical advice. This is just something I tried and found useful. If you're struggling, reach out to a friend or to a medical professional. You don't need to be alone. Enjoy this episode. One of the perks of my job is that I learn different techniques from different people, also from listening to programs on the radio, from reading articles and books. Basically, anything I find out there that is helpful, I usually bring back to my clients for them to try out, and I try them out as well. One technique I heard of was a technique to help people sleep. Usually when people have a hard time sleeping, a cause that is not necessarily insomnia of the I just can't sleep type, but insomnia of the my thoughts are going around in my head and I can't sleep type, is to distract your mind. And I talk about this in every segment. There are the usual strategies to help people sleep. So one can write in a journal just to get rid of the thoughts that are circling around, so that when you're sleeping or when you're trying to sleep, you don't have to think about all of them. They're recorded somewhere so that you can look at them later. Another technique is to declutter your bedroom and only keep in the room things that remind you of sleep, that you want your bedroom to be a place where you sleep or have sex, but not where you do work, where you watch TV, where you knit, where you have phone conversations. Because what happens with that is that you get into the room and you automatically associate your room with all those other activities rather than the activity of sleeping. So decluttering your room is a good idea. There is also the option of starting a bedtime routine. Now, when you have children, you know what to do. You start to calm down after dinner, you do quieter activities, you give them a bath, you read them a story, you tuck them in, you dim the lights, and hopefully they fall asleep rather quickly. But as adults, we forget that we might need all of those things as well. If we come straight home, we go to the gym, we do some work, we clean the house, we do all these things, we watch TV, and then we try to go to bed, sometimes our mind will start spinning and we will be more awake than we were before. So you want to slow down, reduce your screen time, dim the lights, prepare yourself slowly, and all those things might help. So the technique I'm going to teach you is one of distracting your mind. Now, some people count, some people recite the alphabet. I don't know about you, but I can do those things while still thinking about the things that are going around in my mind. So what you want to do is you want to give your mind something complicated enough to think about, but boring enough that it's going to want to sleep. Now here is this technique that I have tried out myself, and it works great for me. You find a long word. So let me see. Something like accreditation. I'm not even sure I can spell that, but you start with the letter A. Then you find a word that starts with the letter A. So, apple. Next letter is C. Counter. I believe there's another C after that. Carrot. R. Rabbit. Seems to be a theme here. ACCRE. D. D. Diabetic. Anyway, you see where I'm going with this. So for each long word, you find a word that starts with each letter of that word. This engages your mind, but like I said, it's boring enough that after a while your mind just goes, "Peh, I'm out of here." And my experience with this when I'm trying to sleep is I have never had to resort to more than 3 large words. So that was pretty good. Something you can try. And I have shared this with clients, and most of them have found this to be helpful. And you can challenge yourself. You can give yourself a theme. You can do it in more than one language. It's up to you. I recently found a bonus reason to do this exercise. I recently had a root canal, and the dentist makes me nervous. I really don't like the whole experience. And I was in the chair with a big rubber thing keeping my mouth open, some cotton in my mouth, the dentist's fingers in there, and I knew if I thought about what he was doing, I would gag. So I had to think quickly, and I needed to distract myself. It wasn't one of these moments where I had to sit down and think about why I was feeling this way. I just needed to get my brain out of there as quickly as possible so that I could relax. So I had the idea to do this exercise. And I thought, well, if it can help me sleep, maybe it can help me relax. So there I am in the dentist chair, and I start to think up long words. And it worked. It was great. What I found that because I was stressed, it was a lot harder for me to think up words, which actually made my mind work harder and accelerated the relaxation. And whenever my mind would wander back to what was happening in my mouth, I would quickly go back to the big word. And interestingly enough, as I was thinking of words, the words that were coming to mind were words like torture, chaos, cruelty, pain. I guess in a way my mind was still a little bit focused on what was happening, but in hindsight I found that kind of funny. So you can use this exercise for falling asleep, and also if you're in a situation that you can't get out of and you need to relax. I invite you to try it, and then once you wake up, preferably the next day, come back to the comments and let us know how that worked for you. Take care.